Chapter 7, Disruptive Honesty. In order to grasp the wildness of this next vignette, I want you to imagine that you have received an invitation to dine at the home of an influential diplomat. The governor or your ambassador will do. A number of dignitaries will be present, bishops of the church, Supreme Court justices, a prime minister. How would your insides feel as you rang the bell? How self-conscious would you be of your appearance, your manners? Alas, 30 seconds after you walk through the door, there is an awkward moment of tension, a delicate matter about forgetting to return the bow of the Dalai Lama. Your host is speechless. You can see from the look on everyone's face that you have committed something a step or two beyond an embarrassing faux pas. What would you say? How would you respond? When Jesus had finished speaking, a Pharisee invited him to eat with him. So he went in and reclined at the table. But the Pharisee, noticing that Jesus did not first wash before the meal, was surprised. Then the Lord said to him, "Now then, you Pharisees clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside you are full of greed and wickedness." Jesus has just entered this man's home, having accepted an invitation to dinner. Every guest who has ever passed through those doors has washed their hands before being seated, slavishly observing a custom unbroken for centuries. It is a test of orthodoxy and solidarity. Jesus knows this, knows that they are watching his every move. He walks right past the line at the wash basin, makes himself comfortable at the table. The Pharisee apparently is speechless. Jesus reads the look on his face and offers an explanation. "Oh, the washing bit." He says that he takes a piece of flatbread, breaks off a bite, and chews it. It completely clouds the issue. Outwardly, you look sensational, but inwardly, your heart is full of extortion and evil. The things Jesus says. Apparently, he's not concerned about being invited back. May I remind you that whenever you are watching Jesus, you are watching love? You can always hold that up as you encounter startling passages like this one. I am at this moment watching love in action. Remember, Jesus is not strolling through the Israeli countryside offering poetry readings. He is on a mission to rescue a people who are so utterly deceived, most of them don't even want to be rescued. His honesty and severity are measured out precisely according to the amount of delusion and self-deception encasing the listener. When a soul is encrusted with pride, bigotry, self-righteousness, and intellectual elitism, as was his dinner host, then that shell does need to be struck hard at times in order to cause a crack that might allow some light in. Jesus strikes with the precision of Michelangelo. At another dinner engagement, this one at the home of two now famous sisters, Jesus is pulled into a sibling squabble. Now, as they were traveling along, he entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister called Mary, who was seated at the Lord's feet, listening to his word. But Martha was distracted with all her preparations, and she came up to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the serving alone? Then tell her to help me." Okay, Jesus is a sharp enough man to know not to stick his head in a hornet's nest. These family quarrels have a long, tangled history, like Middle Eastern politics. Come to think of it, these quarrels are the long, tangled history of Middle Eastern politics. Martha demands Jesus take sides. He does, but not as she expected. He takes her side by speaking to what is going on inside. "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Jesus is the guest, by the way, in her home. She made the dinner. If it were me, I think I would probably have tried to diffuse the tension by just offering to help Martha myself, skirt the issue, but it would leave Martha in her self-righteous snit. I absolutely love the loving courage of this man to say what everyone else knows but won't say. Jesus' tone seems very different here than with the earlier Pharisee. This is a softer blow. That is because he is dealing with a softer heart. You get the sense that Martha, though snarky at the moment, would be immediately softened by the truthfulness of Jesus' words. This is their first reported encounter. But the sisters and their brother, Lazarus, go on to become close friends of Jesus. Martha's home is his first choice of refuge whenever he is traveling near Jerusalem. Apparently, his words were just the right touch at just the right moment. Now, in order to appreciate how beautiful this is, think of how rarely it occurs and how even more rarely it is done well. Most people go through their entire life without anyone ever speaking honest, loving, direct words to the most damaging issues in their life. Pause for a moment and count the times this has been done for you. Better, pause and count the times you have offered this to someone you love. I'm not stunned by Jesus' words to either of his hosts. I'm stunned by the courage and love this takes.